So I want to know how I should train. I want to know if I have like someone is saying that the last time they used JOSM is 4 months, so I need like to do a hard refresh. Then there is someone saying, I have used JOSM, I've used it for some time. Okay. So someone is saying, I have experience using JOSM, I use JOSM, I've been using JOSM for the past 3 years, very nice. I've been using JOSM for a long time, nice. Using JOSM. So we are like a mixed. The last time I used JOSM was last year, and a little rusty, but I remember some basics, nice. Frequent user, nice. I've used JOSM for a longer time than ID, nice. So nice. Now I have a picture. So my request is I want you to ask any questions. You can stop me at any one moment that you feel you want me to repeat anything, because we first started using ID because we wanted us to have like a feel on which kind of feedback we should give, like the beginner mappers, because most of the work we are doing is going to be validation in the future. So yeah, I'm going to start. So I'll start by sharing my screen. I want to share my browser. So are you able to see my browser right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can see.
And are you able to see JOSM?
Yes.
So you can see my JOSM and you can see my browser. So I'm using 2 screens, and I just wanted to clarify that. All right. So I'm going to start. So JOSM. So the objective of this is we are going to learn how to download, install, and how to link our OSM accounts to JOSM. We're also going to learn how to use JOSM, to map basic features and how to upload to OSM. We are also going to learn how to install and use JOSM plugins. So what is JOSM? JOSM is Java OpenStreetMap editor that is known as JOSM and allows us to edit offline. Like once you have downloaded the data, you can be able to edit offline, and then you turn on your data and you upload your work. So data is synchronized by the user once you have uploaded, like I've mentioned. And then JOSM runs in Windows, it runs in Mac OS and Linux. So what do you need? You need a computer with sufficient fresh disk space of about 10 GB. Then you need to have Java 8 Plus installer. So remember, in order to have JOSM working, you have to have Java. So Java supports JOSM to work. And then I recommend you having a mouse. It helps like mapping very, very fast and efficient. So how to download JOSM? You just go to this, let me just, wait, is it in presentation mode? Let me put this in presentation mode. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to share this link in the chat. So think about, okay. Just a minute. So you go into, I'm just going to do a small demo right now. You're going to go into your JOSM, rather your browser, and just type in JOSM download, just that. And then you JOSM download, and then make sure you download.
Yes? Becky, we can't see your screen, the browser screen. We only see JOSM.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Just a minute. Just a minute.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay. Awesome. You can see it now?
Yeah.
Awesome. So what you do, sorry about that. What you do, you go to your browser type in the word JOSM, and then you download this tested version. Usually it's the one that works best. And then right down here, depending on the computer that you have, if you use Windows, you download the Windows version. If you're using Mac OS, you do the same. If you have Ubuntu, you also do the same. Then you go ahead and search for Java. Java. And then you also download the version that you want, the same. So after you've downloaded Java and you've downloaded JOSM, you are good to go. So I'm going to go back to the slides and we continue. Okay. Are you able to see my slides? Actually, let me stop sharing. And then I use one screen. I think there's no need for two screens. Just a minute. Just opening my JOSM. So are you guys able, if you don't have JOSM, have you been able to download as I open up my JOSM? I want to share everything at once. Okay. All right, so I'm back on the slides. So I think I've walked through this. So once JOSM is installed and Java is installed, you'll see a screen like this one, which is, mine is still loading, which will be like this coming up. So you'll see a screen like this, and then this is how the interface looks like. Right here is the main bar. The main bar has different tools. I'll demonstrate that once I got there. And then the map view is actually where you see your data. Edit tool, the edit side has different editing tool, which is the building tool. So different from the one of ID, the building tool like tags for you. And then we have information tool. That's where you find the layers panel, the tags and membership, filters, etc. And then remember, once we have already installed JOSM, we need to update our presets. So our presets are the main tools and plugins that we need. So what you do, you go to preferences. I will demonstrate this. I'm just going through the slides as my JOSM loads, and then same thing, editing tools, all those plugins that we need for mapping. Let me see if it has. Still loading. Okay, so can you able to see my JOSM?
No, I'm still seeing the slide.
Okay. You can see the JOSM now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it.
I don't know why it's acting like that. Let me want to show everything at once. So I want that. And Chrome. Okay, nice. So you can see JOSM.
Yes.
Awesome. So once you have, remember, we have downloaded our JOSM, and we have also downloaded the Java script. So in order to make your JOSM work well, we need to download different presets. So like I mentioned earlier on, this is what they call the main bar. It has the files, edit. The most important thing is here imagery that I like to use. where you'll be able to see the different imageries you can switch to use for clarification. Windows, okay, we can't open now, then the mapathon and etc. So we need to update our preset. So you go to edit there. So number one, we are going to do mapping. So we need the building tool. You come to plugins, you type in here, you type in building, just the word building, and then you make sure you have checked that box. Another important tool that we use is called the Util Plugin. So you tick this one, the one that has like a hammer, you tick that one. So the Utils plugin helps you to enable different other editing tools. I'll show you in the demo. And then another thing you need to do is the remote control. So you have to make sure your remote control is checked. So what the remote control does is that it connects your OSM, it connects our tasking manager to JOSM. So that once you have edited anything and uploaded to OSM, it tags you as the author. And then the other important thing to do is to make sure you've checked your expert mode. I will show you once I start demonstrating. I'll turn off my expert mode and you see what happens. So we have already checked our buildings. We have checked our building, we have activated the utils, and then we have also checked the expert mode, but still we have another thing to do. That's what they call the OSN server. So you come here and you choose basic authentications and you enter in your correct OSM username and your correct password. Make sure you put in your correct OSM username and password. And then another thing, since we are working in different countries, we have French speakers who prefer language. So you can come here and change it according to the language that you prefer. So now, just a recap. You come to your plugins, make sure you activate the buildings tool. You activate the buildings tool, you activate the util, you activate the utils, and then you come, make sure you have connected, you have checked your remote control, check the expert mode, entered in your correct OSM username and password, and then if you prefer a language, you come and go ahead and check the language. Yeah, so I'm going back to the slides. Can you see the slides or I'll keep asking?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. So the next thing, there are two ways on how you can download data using the JOSM. So number one, you can work on data directly from OSM, and then you can use the hot tasking manager like we are going to use later on. So I'm going to first demonstrate how you can download data from OpenStreetMap. You can see JOSM. My God, I have two JOSMs, so I don't know which is which. Can see my JOSM?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Awesome. So to download data directly from OSM, you can see these two arrows. So this other one is grayed out because I've not done any editing. So I'll just come right here and I download. When I click here, it will bring for me like a huge area. And you can actually pan through, and you see, you can pan through by right clicking just to move around and internet.
Sorry, your screen is stuck on the first page of Jazm.
How is it? Are you able to see my download? Like
Not yet.
So how about now?
Still stuck on the JOSM.
Okay. I'm going to close the JOSM and I rerun it. So meanwhile, to download, you go to, let me just wait for my Jazm to run. Otherwise, any questions? Any questions so far? Let me just check in the chat. Okay, let me see if as if okay, let's give it a minute. So you can see Jazm, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So you can download Jazm from here when you click this green button, and then you can just draw a small triangle like that to download data. Then another interesting thing is you can download data from Overpass. We shall learn Overpass when the time comes. You can run queries. Okay, so, okay. No, this thing is getting stuck. Okay, let me just do the small demo. So you draw like a small triangle to download. So you cannot download a very huge space. That's the only disadvantage it has. So when I click on download, I'll be able to download data directly from OSM and fix it. So here, so now I have a chance to like demonstrate here. So you come to imagery and then you add in any imagery you want to edit. So we have Bing, Maxa, and Bing, Maxa, Esri. The common ones that we use are usually Maxa and Bing. So let's see, I put Mapbox, let me put Maxa. So I want to enter, I want to put in Maxa. So Maxa brings the errors. Okay, so they used Maxa to map here. So another way to just find out the area I want to map, which imagery did they use? So I'll just do Control H. We shall learn these other advanced stuff later, and then I'll find out the person mapped this using Maxa imagery, so I can know and which imagery I should choose using here. Or you can just double check, keep switching imageries and see which imagery aligns best with the existing building. So another thing I wanted to mention to demonstrate here is the information panel. This is a very key panel. So in the information panel has the layers panel. So once you are doing mapping, make sure your layer panel, your data layer is on top. So why do I say this? So if I put this down, the data will disappear. So make sure your data layer, the one that you're working on, is on top. So I'll just take it back and then my data is here. So this is where you find the imagery, where you find the imagery source, the boundary, and the data. So another nice thing is the tags and membership. You can actually know what object it is. It is tagged as building equals yes. So in case it had like other attributes, you'd see it right here. Then we have conflict. These ones we shall learn it in the advanced trainings. And then we have tags and membership, rather validation results. In case there is any error, like let me just cause one here, and then I run my tags and I'll find here my warnings and errors, and then filters, etc. The rest we shall learn in the advanced one, in the advanced training. So I'm going to go back to my slides for a bit. Hope you can see them now. Can you see my slides?
Yeah, we can see.
Awesome. So another option is using the hot tasking manager. you all know what the hot tasking manager is. At least we had like a brief on it. I'll just go to I'm going to select one. I'm going to choose the project that we are working on. Just escape. Karama. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The hot tasking manager.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So this is how the hot tasking manager, at least we know how it looks like. So I'm going to just do a small brief demo for you. So we have tasks. On tasks, you can search in the task number. So I can tell you, in case you want me to check for you, hey Becky, can you please check for me task this and this? I think I marked it as complete and it wasn't complete. Can you please change the tag, change the status? Oh, hey Becky, I've worked on this and this and I'm not sure of this road. Can you help me? You can just tell me the task number and then I'll be able to search for it. And then I can also type in your username and I will be able to select the task. For instance, if maybe I'm looking for Karen, just popping here. It will bring for me only tasks that have been worked on by Karen. And then another thing, if I want to only validate people, I can just say, I want only tasks for validation, but I want only Karen's. Or I want everyone's task, but I want only for validation. Or I want all available for mapping, I want to see. Or I want the ones that have been validated. So that's how you check. And then you can just check by recently updated or list recently updated or sort by task number. So that is how it looks. Then we have instructions, and you all know instructions are very key. This is where you identify the feature that you're mapping. For this case, we are doing buildings only. And then sometimes they add for us the different photos just to help us clarify during mapping. And then the hashtag that you're using. As you can see on this project, we do not have the data quality hashtag as a default. So just a reminder, please remember to add it once you are doing once you're uploading. And then here, maybe another thing I wanted to briefly describe is available for mapping. You all know it's the white one, and then the light blue is ready for validation, and then more mapping needed, just in case it's not well mapped, and then finished, unavailable for mapping. So we tag unavailable for mapping if there is like a thick dark cloud. So sometimes you find the space has not, like you've selected it, but there are no buildings there. Please go ahead and mark it as completely mapped. Why? Because the task is saying map only buildings, and you've checked, maybe it's a forested area, you go ahead and mark it as completely mapped. Unavailable for mapping only if there is a dark cloud. And sometimes they our project managers tell us if places are covered with clouds, please use Bing. So if a place is covered with a cloud, you check with Bing. If there are buildings right there, you go ahead and map. If there are no buildings, or if it's covered with cloud both in Bing and Maxa, that's when you mark it as unavailable for mapping. Otherwise, you go ahead and map if there are buildings in Bing. And then sometimes project managers mark it as pink. We don't have any here. If they want us to prioritize the area for mapping, why? Sometimes they want to start with a certain, maybe village for field work. So they want us to do the remote mapping quickly as we go ahead. So that's how it looks. So this is it. Any questions? Sorry, Becky. Yes,
I think there are a question in the chat, but I've already answered. If you can add more.
Which question is that?
Question from Divya.
Yes, go ahead. You can unmute yourself and speak.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, the Divya can it read like I already have JOSM, but I don't have Java. What are the benefits to use Java? Can I download Java now?
Yes, yes, yes. So if you do not install Java, you have to download Java. Java supports JOSM to operate. So if you do not download Java, your JOSM will not work. So go ahead and download Java according to your PC. If it's Windows 1, download that one and it will be able to work. Yes, Kingsley, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to ask a question or get clarification on the instruction as is showing on your screen. In the place covered with cloud, please use Bing. The imagery we are using for this task is Maxa. So in that situation, where the edits like the building footprint did not match with the Maxa, and you want to use Bing because of the cloud cover, are you going to use offsets, or you are just going to map like that, like on your default when you change to Bing? I don't know what I get what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, I think I get you. So when there's a cloud cover, it means the place is either like dark or white. That means in Maxa, there are no buildings. But when you change to Bing, you find that they're already they're existing buildings, and you map them. That means when someone tries to map with Maxa, they will not be able to see the buildings existing unless they change the imagery to Bing. You get. So when you are uploading it will show that you use Bing, and then it's very good to write like a comment to in the tasking manager. You say, I used Bing because there was a cloud cover in Maxa. So they will leave it as it is, unless in the future when Maxa updates the area or there's a better imagery, then there will be like an update in that area. Otherwise, it will be Bing as Bing. Yeah, I don't know if I answered your question well. Kingsley, is that okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Awesome. So another important thing that I wanted us to do here is, remember, we've been using ID editor to do mapping. So what we are going to do this time is to change it to JOSM, because moving forward we are using JOSM. So you come to your username here, and then you click on the settings, and then you come to set editor as default. So default editor rather, then you come here and you select JOSM, and you're good to go. So once you've done that, we are now going to do a demo using the TM. So make sure you have done that, otherwise you'll have to do like a back and forth, set it as default, because moving forward, we're going to be using JOSM as our mapping editor. So as it loads, let me just do something here. Okay. So I'm going to select an area here. So there are two ways of actually you can select. One, you can either just pan through and select a random area, or you can just say map a task. So whatever you prefer works best. So I've just selected here, and then I'm running it. Okay. So they're saying in case it is cloudy, use Bing. And then they are telling us we are using Bing only for comparison. That is if the area is showing in Maxa. So I'm going to go to my JOSM. I hope you can see it. I just hope you can see it. Are you able to see my JOSM?
No, we cannot see.
Why do I have to keep resharing JOSM? Okay. Okay, now I think I got the issue. Now you can see my JOSM, right?
Yes.
Yes, I see it.
Yeah.
Yes, please, we can see it.
Awesome, awesome. So another thing I wanted to show you that I'm going to give you some tips on how to identify buildings. There are some objects that really look like buildings, and actually they are not. And then another thing I realized, the project we are working on, it has multi-polygons. And multi-polygons, we were going to train them in the advanced session, but I'm going to use like a few minutes here to to show you guys how to use what? How to use, just a minute. Yeah, how to use how to map multi-polygons. So I'm going to just start by the tips. So usually when I'm mapping buildings, I first identify it, like what is a building. So how do you identify that? You have to look out for shadows. So usually buildings have like some sort of elevation and then shadows. So when they're taking like the aerial picture of it, they tend to have shadows unless they have taken it at a certain time. And then another thing, the roof color tends to be different from the ground. And then they have like, usually man-made features have like sharp edges. So you look out for that. And then another thing, there are these like small shiny stuff. So they're really small. Some guy was like, it's like a shoebox. So we don't map that. Like I wouldn't map this as a building. It has like a bit of shadow. The corners are not that sharp, but you see, it's really tiny. I cannot map it like this. You get, so you don't avoid mapping such stuff. Usually they can be like maybe cars on the compound or it's a shade reflection or something. So I've identified one here as a building. So because it has like a shadow, you can see these dark shadows, and then it has like sharp edges, and then the color is quite different from the ground. So what I do, I'm going to get my building tool, and then I will click on one corner, click on the other, then click once and release. And I'm done. And remember, don't map the shadow. Don't map the shadow. So I'm going to do the same. I'll click here, I click here, and I click, and then I release. So realize that in a crowded place like this one, it can be very challenging not to avoid like buildings from overlapping or snapping each other. So how do you do in such a scenario? So I'm just going to map one here and here and here. I am assuming maybe this is like a straight edge up to this side. Probably there was a tree or a dark shadow. So I'm not going to like map like going around. So I'm just going to leave it as that. So I will select that, and then I will come, I select that one building, and then I'm going to come here and just keep, you see there, I will not be able to snap. Click on one corner like that. I assume this is one. So another thing you have to, then I'll come and select the nearby one, and I will be able to map. Another thing you should know is that it's up to the mapper. You have to use the best judgment as you can. And as you continue mapping, you like improve on your judgment. So here, I think there is like a tree and it goes up to this side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to map. I'm going to assume that it's a straight edge up to this side, and I map. And then I'll introduce to you another tool. So those days would map like this, and then we like map two overlapping triangles. And then you like select both of them, and then you shift J. Okay, I've not selected it. You select one, hold your control key down, select the other. Okay, then you shift J, and then you press Q to square, then you delete the extra nodes. But there is a better way to do that. So you just get your building tool, click on one corner, click on the other, finish up the building, and then you come and get the create or the extrude tool. Once I click here, I'll double click and drag it down like that. So I'm going to demonstrate that on this. This one looks like there are two separate ones, but let me just map it. Mapping this separate. So you try to use the best judgment as you can. I'm looking for one to demonstrate how to use the extrude tool. Yeah. So these two, according to me, they look different because there's like a contrast in the color. So I'm just going to move this rod just aside so that I don't snap it. just move it aside like there, then I'll move it here like this. So I'm going to assume this is like an extension. So I'm going to demonstrate how to use the extrude tool again. So I map out like that, depending on how I want. I can map the whole of it. And then I double click there to create a node, and then I just extend it like that. I'm good, and I'll be good to go. So that's how they use that tool. And so these are separate. I'll map them separately. Yeah, I think now time to upload my work. So when you're going to upload, you click on the arrow that's going up, upload. And then remember that it's giving me warnings and unnamed ways. Remember, we are mapping remotely. We do not know the names of those roads. So I'm just going to ignore and I continue. So for us, we are adding our hashtag here at the end. I think it is hashtag. It's data quality internship. I've forgotten it, but it's data quality internship. You can just copy and paste it there, and then you add here. So it's very, very important to add what you have done. So for me, what I did, I just added a few buildings and modified some. That's exactly what I'm going to type here. So I'll say added and modified. Please do not forget to write this, modified buildings. And my, okay, now just a minute. I was using these other imageries just to like illustrate. So I've deleted them because I don't want them to appear. And I have my imagery as Maxa, which is checked. And then there is this other section that says, would you like someone to review your work? Usually once something is mapped, it should be validated. So there will be someone to look at your work. So if you wish, you would leave it unchecked. But there is a tool that we shall learn called Osm Chat. So what Osm Chat does, when you click here, it will flag your work like as an emergency, if I may say, like it will put it on the top so that if there's someone who would like to check work, they will prioritize yours. Otherwise, you can just ignore this and leave it as it is. Then you go ahead and upload. And you're good to go. So another thing I want to illustrate before I go to the slides, do you have any questions? Where is the upload button? The upload button is this one. Now mine is grayed out because I have not edited anything. I've like uploaded everything I need. So right now when I try to edit something like here, for instance, it will like the color green will come. So when I try to upload, so there should be two, one going up and one going down. So the one going down is for downloading, like I illustrated earlier on. And the one going up is for uploading. So this looks like a multi-polygon. I'm going to illustrate how to map multi-polygons. There are two ways. I'm going to show you how basically we used to upload that so that you understand what a relation means, like what a multi-polygon means. And then I'll show you the simplest way how you can map a multi-polygon. So I'm going to start with the other illustrative way. So you get your line tool, you click on one corner, click on the other, click on this until like you finish up, and then you remember to square because the line tool doesn't square for you. So you map out the outer side, then you get the line tool again, you map out the inner part, which is the courtyard or the hall in between. So I'll go ahead and square that. After, I'm going to select both of them, and then I will come to relations. Just close here. Okay, I'm closing this. So I'll come to relations and there is a plus. So I'll add the plus. So what happens here is I will click on this arrow going this side so that it brings everything like, so when I see here, it selects, it highlights it. So I'm sending everything this side. See, it highlights it. Then when I click here, it highlights the outer. So this is the outer, and then this is the inner. So, but I need to add here some tags. What I know is the type of building is called a multi-polygon, right? Just say type, and then I say it's a multi-polygon. But I also know that the building equals, yes, so type in building, yes. And then remember now I've brought in the in and the outer this side. So when I click here, the outside one like blinks, as you can see here. So I'll say this is outer. Then I come here, this is inner, you can just type in inner. And then you say, okay, so that's the relation bit of it. So when I come right here and I check here in relations, rather tags and membership, here. So you see, when I select the outside one, it is telling me it's the outer and it is in the second position. It's the second member of the building. And then here it's telling me that it has two members, which is the outer and the inner, which I've showed you earlier on. This inner one, this is the first position and it is the inner part of the building. I don't know if you get it. So that's how you map a multi-polygon initially. But JOSM has made our life much, much easier. You do not have to do that. I'm going to show you how you can easily map a multi-polygon without going through all that stress. Do you have a question? Okay, thank you, Ralph. So what you do to map, you get your building tool, just make sure you don't map, you click on one corner, click on the other and you finish it. Then you come and map the inside bit of it and then you finish. Maybe another thing, I realized that the thing is kind of tilted. If I want like to make it straight, you click on Shift. I'm going to demonstrate that again. Shift, Control, just to rotate it a bit. And then if I want to resize it, Control Alt, just to resize it. And I'm good to go. So now I've mapped the outer side and I've mapped the inner side. How do I make it a multi-polygon? So I'm going to select one, hold my control key down, select the next one, and then say Shift B. So when I do rather Control B, sorry, let me do it again. Select the inner one or whatever you choose, select the outer one, then I say Control B. And it will automatically make for me a multi-polygon. So when I select the outer one, it is telling me this is a multi-polygon building. It has two members. The one that I've selected is in the second position and the row is outer. When I select the inner one, it still tells me the same. So I'll go ahead and upload my work just because I want to demonstrate something else. I say added, I just added, I didn't modify, I say added buildings. Remember to add this comment. Don't forget our hashtag to help us to track our stats. And I'm good to go. Do you have any questions?
I want to, when you want to upload now, if you look at the imagery session, it is written Magza Perennium imagery and semicolon Magza Perennium. Is there any effect on that?
No, there is no effect on that. They're all the same.
Okay, all the same.
Yeah, actually, when you mentioned that, I thought maybe I have to image erase. Yeah, there's no effect on that. They're all the same. Let me just delete this. So it just becomes very confusing, like when you leave being Maxa and what. So the person like, hey, what did they really use? Until again, they go back. Just that's why it's very good when you make sure the image you're using here is the same as the one you're using to upload, because sometimes you used to compare and all that, so it brings confusion.
Please let me just confirm something. Click on the last image. I want to see the history. There's just something I want to. Yeah, on the history.
Control H. It gives you the way you upload it is the way it comes.
Okay, so I wanted to see like the imagery source, the way it is showing it. Yes.
Yes, but if you prefer, actually, you can just delete one and leave one, but they're all the same.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah. So that is how we map multi-polygons. Do you have any questions? Do I need to repeat anything? Okay. Complex relations like admin. I think Ralph has answered it, but something that I can assure you of, we are going to do relations of land cover and natural resources. Yeah. All right, so that is it. Let me just go back to the slides. I have to make sure I'm sharing it again. Okay. So are you able to see my slides?
No, we cannot see it.
For real?
Yeah, there we
Yeah,
can
it's
see.
clear.
Now you can see, right?
Yes.
All right, so I have
Yes.
I've done this. I just need to make sure I have. Okay, all right. So OSM taggings, basic. Then let me do OSM taggings and okay. All right. So I'm going to do, is it OSM taggings? Sorry, let me just see if I've missed anything again. Okay, I haven't illustrated points. Screw tool, how to map circular buildings, how to map land use, and okay, visualizing. Okay, I'm going to go back. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to show you how to map. I showed you how to use the extrude tool. If you have any questions, please type in the chat. How to map circular buildings, and then how to map land use. Okay, so how to map circular buildings? The old way. Let me first show you the old way. The old way is really old. I'm going to assume this is a circular building. It isn't, so I'm going to just map it out like that, and then I will press O, rather, wait. Is it? Oh God, forgotten what? Hey, okay, I think I forgot how the old way. But then how you map circular building, you select your buildings tool, select the building tool. You see it has like the shape of a square one. You come to data, and then you say set building shape to circle, or on your keyboard you say Alt Z. So when I say Alt Z, it changes. When I say Alt R, it changes. So maybe before we go ahead, there is a shortcut keyboard form here. If you forget anything, they're just right here. You can keep checking. But with time, those shortcuts will get in your head. So I want to map a circular building. So I'll come and say Alt Z, it changes. Then I map it, just come on one corner. Usually I just do just around like that. One corner of the building. Let me assume this thing. Come and say here to here. Or it doesn't matter, you come here to here, whatever you really choose. So that's how they map circular buildings. And then if you want to map like land cover residential, you can see there's so many buildings here. So it's probably a residential area. Come and get your area tool. You click here and here and here. And then you just go around. Just doesn't have to be a perfect like share land cover. Just go around like this, and then you finish. And then you come to tags and membership, where there is a plus. You say land use equals residential, and then you mark it, and you've already marked it. And then you can come and draw another one here. Just come around. Just make sure it doesn't snip on those other, on roads or in, come and draw. It doesn't have to be so perfect. See, it doesn't have to snip on roads. So I'm just going to undo, and then I will do this. You can adjust it if you want it to come around like this. You can just keep adjusting it the way you want, and then I'll come and mark it as well as land use residential, and I'm good to go. Then another thing I wanted to show you is that you can find oversized buildings like yeah, this one is not really oversized. Okay, let me just illustrate one. I'm going to create one oversized building. So I'm going to do Alt R to go back, and then I'm going to map this oversizedly. So some people can map it like this. So instead of like this, let me just make it bigger. Instead of like moving this node, then you move here and then you move all the time, you can do it in an easier way. You select the building and then you press Control Alt. Once you press Control Alt, you see the thing has changed, and then you can be able to resize it the way you want. See? So I can resize it here like this, and then I come and get my extrude tool and just adjust the corners. Remember, we're not supposed to map shadows, and I adjust the corners. The same way, if I find it like rotated, maybe like this, and I want to bring it here, I can just Shift, Control, and you see the rotation icon comes, and I rotate it. I select it first, sorry. Then I rotate it the way I want, and then I can drag it here. Then I can rotate it, I can resize it. So to rotate, Shift, Control. Shift, Control to rotate, to resize, Alt, Control. Then I can resize it the way I want. So this just makes like work easier. So here I can just come and resize it. This one, if I want to, I can rotate it a bit. So when you're mapping, so when you rotate it, resize it a bit. See how it makes work easy? Resize it. I feel like this needs to be rotated a bit. I can come, I feel like there's an extrude thing here. I can rotate it a bit like that. So it makes really work easy. Are there questions in the chat? What is the shortcut of scale? I don't quite get your question. Are you able to unmute and ask? Is the line tool that you use to draw out the outer? Yes, I use the line tool. Let me just elaborate that once again. So we have some, so you see? So another thing, if you find such overlapping things, you can just like adjust. They don't have land covers, you not have to cross over buildings, to overlap buildings. They can overlap roads, but they're not supposed to overlap buildings. They can also overlap roads, but they're not supposed to be connected to roads unless there is a relation. So sometimes they create relations with land covers. So if it's like that, you leave it as it is. Awesome. So another thing I wanted to say, yes, I use the line tool. I just come and just map around. Why is it doing this? Let me first upload. There's a bug. Don't forget the hashtag we are using. So I'm just say added land use. Exactly what I did is what I write. Say land use. Or you can say added land use, residential land use. Let's see if I can capture questions. Thank you guys for sharing the shortcut forms.
Oh, Becky, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Is it advisable to map a land use when in the instruction is not there?
It's okay. Now for us, we are what? So I don't know how to start. For you, you can map because you have experience and you have learned how to map. So usually when you say map only buildings and the beginner mappers we tell them to map only buildings because they've been trained on how to map only buildings. So for you, since you have been trained on how to map land use, you can go ahead and map those. So once you've been trained, you can go ahead and map. It's not bad to do that. It's not bad. Yeah, that's how I can answer it. Yeah, we restrict mapping features because beginner mappers will mess up with things. Now, for you have learned, if it's there, you map it. It will actually help you to give your points for joining the the hot global validator teams, which is one of our objectives. So yeah, do you have any other questions?
Please, can you demonstrate when you turn off the expert mode? I really want to get
Yes. So is it in just a minute? So it is in view. So when you come to view, I want you to look at my edit tool here. So when I come to, you see, when I turn it off, you see, when I turn it off, my exclude tool goes, and those other tools that I use for mapping, even if I come here, I will not be able to see them. But when I come back and turn it on, everything is back. As you can see, I have it here. So that's what happens when you turn off the exclude tool. The same thing, if you do not have your utils, the one I illustrated, most of these stuff here, you'll not be able to see them. Let me just demonstrate for you one. There's split area, which is very good, that I like to use. So imagine someone, assuming assuming someone says these are two buildings, that rather it's one building. And to me, I think these are two buildings. Instead of deleting these nodes and all that, and I can just modify this by creating an extra node here. And then I select both of them and I come to my mod tools and I say split for me. And then I square, I've created two buildings out of one, you see? So those are like additional tools that you can use to map, which you cannot have if you don't activate your utils tool, and so much more, and so many more here. So yeah. Another thing I wanted to illustrate is the imagery. How can you boost this imagery here? So I'll come here and select my area, my imagery on the layers panel, and I come and click on this eye. When you come on it, to say change visibility. So when I click on it, I can be able to play around opacity, the color, the gamma, and the sharpness. So I'm just going to zoom closely in and you see how it changes as I adjust. So you come to your layers panel, make sure you've clicked on the imagery, and then the opacity is already at 100, but if you see when I come this side, it darkens. So 100 is the base. So the color, if I want to brighten it, see the color changes. So what happens, this one only changes for you. So you don't have to worry about your neighbor, you're changing anything for your neighbor. So you can play around this. It only helps you to be able to visualize the things properly. So yeah, so this is how it is. You can do it the way you want. And then the gamma, still you can play around it and you see what works for you. The sharpness, the same. See, can make it like that. So yeah, so I'm just going to adjust it to the color that I want. Yeah, I can increase the color a bit. So that is it. This one helps it, especially when the imagery is not good enough. It can help you boost up the imagery. Yeah. So another thing I wanted to mention, is there a question? When you're using a residential tag, what size of residential area is recommended to map only if it is only large? I think it should be a reasonable size. You will not see two buildings. I cannot map this to be like, how can I say it? You will not see like two buildings and you map it as a residential area. Like if I want to map this area as a residential area, I would want to capture like most of them. Otherwise, I would have something like this. This is a residential area. This other one is also a residential area. This other one, it's like I don't know which best term I can give it. This one is a residential area. Like it's not like, how can I say it? I don't know. It's not recommended. So if I want to map a residential area, I just have to like to range out a good reasonable size. I can say maybe these, can decide to maybe do these. Sorry. Can decide to map out these. Like I can take out this whole area. Just make sure it doesn't flip, it doesn't like snap anything like this. I can try to modify it the way I want, just to make sure it looks good. That doesn't take up some of the land that have the farmland. Now you're going to land relations, how you can relate this farmland to the residential, but in the advanced session. So I can do something like this instead of mapping small bits. So I mark this as land use residential, which is nice. So I can upload my work. Still, I can, so it's saying unconnected tag. I think there's somewhere. I'll come here and I zoom to the problem. Then I'll just delete it. I think I double click something, yeah. So maybe before I go to the next stage, another thing to do as a good mapper is to always run your validator tool here, and you'll be able to see errors and warnings, like the one that I have fixed. If I ignore a search, it wouldn't be nice. So give more work to the validator. So here I'm saying place name without a missing tag, a place without a name. So remember, we are doing field work, we don't know the names of these things. So you ignore a search, and then unnamed ways, we also ignore a search. And there's here a way that terminates in an area. So we come and see here, maybe we can just unglue it by saying G, and then you move it a bit. Then you upload your work. Still don't remember to write the comment, and I've not written for now. So that is it. I'm going back to the slide for a bit, and I see. Okay, so I have how to fix buildings. I'm going to illustrate that. Land use I've covered. Mapping roads, I'm going to do that shortly. Uploading I have done. Circular buildings I've done. Okay, do you have any questions before I continue? So mapping roads, another thing, maybe one thing I should mention, when you're mapping roads, you have to note that most main roads are mapped, like the secondary roads, that most tertiary roads are mapped. Maybe some tertiary roads are not mapped, but most main roads are mapped. The roads that we usually map are paths, and unclassified, and residentials, and trucks. Those are the main roads that we map. So we are going to use the Osm Wiki. I don't know if there's someone who can be able to drop that link for me, Osm Wiki there for features, or I'll drop it in our chat. So with roads, you really have to be patient, and you have to learn and to keep referring. So that's how I learned how to map roads. So number one, residential roads. These are roads that connect, like this would be a residential road, connects like settlements. And then the path, I would map this actually as a track. I would map this as a track. So what is a track? A track, these are buildings, rather, these are roads that go through farmlands, forested areas, and yeah, forested areas, farmlands, mainly those that I can remember. And then we have unclassified roads. These are roads that connect settlements. Like for instance, this road, see, it's connecting this settlement. I'll tag this confidently as unclassified. So I don't know, has someone shared? I don't know. Yes, thank you very much. So one thing you have to know, maybe if I'm to open the Osm Wiki, let me see if I can open it and we go through it shortly together. Just a minute. I'm going to share another browser. I don't know why it's happening. I tried to share everything at once, but it's not working as I wanted. Okay, so are you seeing my browser? Open another browser. Just a yes would be nice. Can you see my browser?
Yes, no.
Yes.
Yes, we can see it.
So
Yes.
Awesome. So one thing I can encourage you is to always find, it's not like the best, but it can really help. When you're mapping roads, make sure you refer to the Osm Wiki, which is this one. In my country, we don't have motorways, maybe they are coming up, but secondary roads, mainly these are the secondary roads, and there's like an illustration. They say the most important roads in the country, like for instance, in my country, one secondary road would be the Ginger Road, the one that is the road that connects like Kampala to the border, that's like Busia. For those that are in Uganda, I think Sechoriko understands me most. Like those huge roads, and then rather primary roads, and then secondary roads. They're also important. They connect to towns. Like from I don't know. I don't have a good example. I can use my country still. Like the road that goes from here to Arua. Arua is like my village, my country. Yeah, my district village, so something like that. And then another thing, tertiary roads. Tertiary roads, these are roads, these are most important roads, but they link towns to villages. Most cases they are huge, they're also big, by the way, and there's like a picture for you to see. And then unclassified roads, these are less important roads in the country, the minor roads classifications, and maybe in the near future and the advanced sessions we shall have Ralph that will support us on this. And then residential roads already illustrated that. And then another thing are tracks. Like I told you, tracks, they lead to farmlands and forests, like those roads through the forest, and parks, like national parks. There are even a few pictures for you here to see. So when you're mapping roads, please follow these guidances. They will help you. Just need to refer and you ask in the chat also, we can help there. Do you have a question? Okay, so I'm going to go back. I think we are time bad, but I'm going to go back and I illustrate to you how to map roads. So I'm going to put it looks like everything is mapped. Okay, so this one that you see here, I would map it as a track. See, this is a farmland. So I just come and get my line tool. I'll click here, click. Make sure you don't do like small dots. Just make sure you do like sizable movements. Like they don't have to be exactly perfect, but they should be sizable. So I'm going to map this, and then I will mark it. I'll show you how to tag it. I think I'll stop here for now. So I'm going to come to, the direction doesn't matter for the roads unless you're clear, you know this goes to this, unless you're a field mapper. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to add in the residential, rather highway. I'm going to show you another one how to find this highway. I said it's a track. Why? My reasoning, it's because it is heading to a farmland. Then another thing I forgot to say is how to measure roads. I think that one I shall do it in the advanced session because the time is bad. So, so another way I can tag this is to select it, come to presets. When you come to presets, you come to highways. Highways, tracks are small, so it will go under ways. Tracks are small roads, go under ways. The same as paths. So tracks and paths, the same here. So if I want like huge streets, I'll come here on streets, and then I'll be able to see residential, secondary, service, etc. So that is how you do. Otherwise, just select the thing, come to tags and membership, add as highway, type in highway. Why is it acting up? Okay, highway. You type in highway. Highway. I don't know why it's not coming. Then highway, you say track, and you go. I already tagged it, so I'm not going to tag it again. So that's how you do it. The same thing, and the other thing I wanted to mention, they're what they call service roads. So service roads, those are roads that head to like a hospital, a school. There's like that one main road that comes maybe from the main road, and then it connects directly to maybe a hospital, or maybe directly to a school. Those are some of the examples of service roads. I'm just going back to the slides again, and I see if I've missed anything. Okay. Otherwise, do you have any questions? Please let me know. If I've missed anything, I'll keep in check. Yeah, so I'm going to share the shortcut keyboard keys in the in our chat on Slack, and then we shall learn Mapathona in the advanced session. These are some of the different JOSM plugins that are important. Then the work plan. We are going to continue with the project that we are working on. But we are still doing mapping. So for the next from now until the advanced session on Monday, please familiarize yourself spending 8 hours. So since now you spent like about an hour in the training, that means that the remaining 7 hours, you're going to be working on mapping, but this time leave ID and pick up JOSM. So you're going to be mapping that same project that we have been working on, and please remember to add the hashtag. In case you have any issues with the plugins and what, please let me know in the Slack channel, and we shall be able to support you as a team. Do you have questions? Someone lost. How do you research? What is the size of the road to be drawn? Okay, let me just share my screen again. Then another thing, that these small roads, they're like, I don't know how to say, they're like webs. They're like, do you know this? If you've been in an area and during like a dry season, you can pass through somewhere, and like you create small paths in the bush. So it can be like a web, like very tiny roads. You get. So don't map very small roads like these ones, like someone who comes and maps these small tiny tracks like this, then comes and maps another one. Maybe there's another one going here, maybe there's another one like that, like such. Don't map them. Don't map such tiny roads like I had mentioned. And then just make sure when you're mapping a road, it is connecting to the main road. If it's not, like there's a road, like a track here in the middle, like these ones heading to the, like this small path like this, you don't map those. Just make sure you map a road and it is connecting to the main roads like this one and this one. So that is it. Then maybe another thing, how to fix, like we say this is joining with this. How do you fix this? Just press G, something that I forgot. Then you resize it, and then remember to delete the extra node, just like that. Like this could be a building, maybe. Yeah, stuff like that. Do you have a question in the chat? Terrains, yes, we shall learn those in the advanced session. For now, we are doing mapping. And please avoid deletion. So if you open a task like this one and you realize maybe according to you, this is not a building, you can just move it here and you adjust it instead of deleting it. Remember, it's just building equals yes. There is no like extra info on it. Deletion should be like one of your last options to consider. So you just move it like this. Or if, for instance, you find many stuff that are not squared, you can just slit them, shift U, and then you square them at once, then you continue mapping. Other advanced features, we shall learn them in the advanced session. Otherwise, I think we are good to go. I'll stop sharing my screen. Do you have any questions? Just a minute. I just want to take a screenshot of something. I'm giving you like 2 minutes for any questions. I'm here. I don't know if I like plugged in a few hours for this session. I feel like I should have added in more. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any question on my side.
Awesome. Just feel free to ask any questions. Feel free again to jump in if you have an answer to anything, we are here to help each other. Don't feel shy. Yeah. Someone is asking in the chat something. Let me just check.